Hi, I'm Agnes. Welcome to my eclectic channel. I like fashion, I like sewing, and I like a challenge. One thing I've never done so far is to sew a garment from A to Z following a pattern. And today I've decided to take the plunge. The pattern I'm going to be using is a free pattern, of course, because I'm going to screw it up. So could not afford to spend that much money, so at least I saved on the pattern, and it's the Bette pattern. It's a 1950s style dress that I've been salivating over for months and months and months now. I was trying to work up my skills before I attacked this work. It is pretty basic, I think, so it should go smoothly from A to Z. Just kidding. Hello, this is the future me, and I finished the dress, and I wanted to talk upfront about a few things in case you are planning to make this dress and you are not planning on watching the whole series from A to Z until you do. I know we get overly excited. So to avoid any pitfalls, I did want to address a few things. So first of all, this is like a pattern review, certain things to watch out for if you want to make this dress, and the pattern is linked in the description, so no reason why you would not make this dress. So first of all, this pattern is very much appropriate for a beginner. That's what I am, and I did it, and I have a good result. So definitely good for beginners. That being said, I have basic skills. Like you in general, if you buy fabric and you psych yourself up to make something you really love, have the basic skills down. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So some of the things that really I mastered before I started with this was the ability to make regular stitches on my machine. I don't skip anymore. I don't have any bunching up going on. I don't jam my machine as much. So yeah, I can work a nice, I know about tension, choice of needles, everything to make this like a smooth line of stitches. I know to taper off darts so that they don't pucker. And I have some good cutting skills. You can't underestimate the importance of good, accurate cutting. Speaking of cutting, this brings me to tools. For this, you will want a good pair of shears. And then there's the choice of fabric. This being a beginner pattern, first they tell you exactly what to get as fabric, and it's a super easy fabric to work with, cotton. If you want to stray away from that, only if you're more advanced, okay? If you use cotton, it'll be easier to stitch. It will have exactly the body that the pattern calls for. Related to the fabric, plan your layout, the cutting layout, before you go to the fabric store. I did not do that. I'll tell you about that. So in particular in the US, and maybe that's specific to Joann's fabric store, I'm not sure, but cotton tends to be sold on narrower width, which is not the width that the pattern has a cutting layout, and they tell you how much fabric, how many yards to buy. But the cotton that I bought was narrower. So you gotta watch out for that. So I do have, I will show the layout that I used. It was good, it's efficient. I will also say how much fabric I bought. Big disclaimer here. I cut the smallest size on the pattern and I significantly shortened the skirt. Plan your cutting layout ahead of time. Always stay several steps ahead of where you are in the process. I've read this pattern many times, even before I began, and then at every step of the way, I would read ahead to the end every time, from where I was to the end, just read that over and over again. Even though I did that, I ended up missing or misunderstanding a few things. So always think ahead, visualize, do mock-ups. You can't plan enough. And sewing is like good cooking. When you're cooking, you gotta taste. And when you're sewing, you gotta do fittings, multiple ones. Start with a mock-up, and when you're working on the actual garment, just as soon as you got something that's halfway done, put it on to check the fit. And for this dress, there's a key fitting that I did at the end that saved the entire project essentially, and that is the last thing that goes in is the zipper in the back. So I pinned the zipper in place and I tried the dress on. Almost, that was at that point almost the finished dress, and I was able to make last minute adjustments. Speaking of fit, what I found with this pattern was that bust-wise, true to size, waist-wise, I had to go down 2 sizes. And then for there's also the length of the bodice that really is, will give you the proper look. So 2 things here. One, I have reasons to believe that the bodice is short. I'm saying this because I'm petite. I'm 5'1", and I'm proportionate. I am not a long torsoed petite person. I have a short, proportionate torso. So you put my torso on a regular sized woman, and it's going to be long legs and really short torso. So if you're taller or you have a longer torso, you might end up with the waist under your chest. Do a mock-up, really check. The other thing there is where you place the waist, you have a little leeway. So I understand the dress is the way it is, you pick to do it because you love the style. But depending on your body shape, play with placing the waist maybe a little lower, a little higher, and look at what is the most flattering on you. Pay attention to finishing. This pattern, while it has clear instructions, like I said, easy for a beginner to follow, does not lacks most of the finishing steps. So one more training I did before I actually embarked on this project is I had a lot of YouTube videos under my belt about finishing. So you definitely want to do that, because I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to mention a couple that I think are key. One is pressing as you go. You need to have your ironing board, your iron, and you press as you go, everything. So you have a crisp finish. It seems like nothing, but it's so important. Finishing of seams is another one. I went a little trigger happy on that, and it's okay. Too much finishing is better than not enough. So I used my overlocking stitch to finish the raw edges so that they don't fray and the dress doesn't come apart after weeks or months of wear and wash. But I will tell you right now, along the neckline, don't bother with overlocking, and also around the armholes. You don't need to do the overlocking, but everywhere else you want to overlock. Alrighty, back to my anxious and excited past self. I got the PDF pattern printed, and I need to cut it and assemble the pieces. So of course I need to choose my size, so it's got handy indications. It's a pattern from the UK, so it's in centimeters. Yay! So one thing I've learned from watching lots of YouTube videos is that in order to select the size, the size measurement to look at really is the bust, because it's where a lot of curvature is happening, and this is not the part that you want to be constructing yourself. So it's best to have the pattern fit there, and the rest can be adjusted. So for me, luckily, my bust size is on there. It is the size 8. And then, as is often the case, you know, you're going to be different sizes depending upon for which one. So my bust is a size 8, so that's the one I'll cut. My waist is a size 10, so there will be some adjustment there to do. The hips are irrelevant because it's a circle skirt, so it's not a hip hugging design. And then there is the back neck to waist measurement. That also matters, and so there may be some adjustments to make there as well. I am starting with the back bodice, and this is where one adjustment comes. I am a size 8 when it comes to the bust measurement, but my waist measurement is a size 10. So I'll just gradually morph from one to the other, and since it's a straight line, I'll just draw that straight line. For the front bodice, I need to do something similar. I start at a size 8 at the bust, and I need to work my way to a size 10 at the waist. I am cutting the size 10 dart. As far as the skirt is concerned, I'm simply going to cut the size 10 since the waist is where the skirts need to fit the body. All the pieces are cut. There's one more on the floor, won't fit on the table. The next step will be to do a mock-up, so I'm going to use an old sheet and at least do the bodice and a bit of the skirt. What I mean by that is not the full length, because I just need to see how it fits at the bodice. One thing that intrigues me as I was cutting this, it's got indications, and one of them is lengthen or shorten here. I know for a fact that I will want to shorten it. As it is, it gets to almost my ankles. The style of the dress is longish, but since I'm so short, I don't think I want it to be that long. It's not a flattering length. So long story short, no pun intended, I will need to shorten it. And I was going to just measure off the bottom and do it, but there's this indication here. So see how ignorant I am. So I'll figure this out when it gets to making the skirt. Next time, we're going to put together a mock-up to check the fit of the pattern. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like.